Hey guys, welcome back if you are new. Today I'm going to be doing a book video. I'm going to be doing my January and February reading wrap up. I figured I would do 2 months at a time. It makes a little bit more sense for me because I love to read, but I'm not that fast of a reader. So just doing 1 month at a time doesn't give me a lot of books to talk to you guys about, so it kind of doesn't even warrant like a whole video. So I figured I'm gonna be doing every 2 months, so January and February, March, April, you get the gist. But yeah, just every 2 months is when I'm gonna be doing my wrap-ups. But I did actually read a lot more books than I anticipated for the first 2 months. I think I was at a total of 14. Yeah, I read 14 books in the past 2 months. I don't know how I managed that. I did read a lot of shorter books, so I think that's a big part of it, but I kind of pulled everything together. I got my stats because I do find that interesting to know the stats, but I am going to try and kind of go kind of quick because I thought it was going to be a quick video, but now looking at how many books I've read, we kind of got a lot to go through. So I'm just going to jump on in, get through it all, but let me look here. So, and I've got my book journal. For January, I read 6 books. I read 2,121 pages. And then February, I read 8 books. I read 2,769 pages, but I did DNF quite a few books in February. So I did kind of count and add the pages of each book that I DNF'd just because I was curious of how much of a difference that makes. And it brought it up to 3,187 pages. So it's a difference of more than 400 pages. So I read 400 pages of books that I didn't finish. So I feel like that's really nice to keep count of. So let's go ahead and jump into what I read first. First on the list, first book that I finished this year was Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. It was a decent read. I did like it. It's a little bit long, but it was pretty good. I rated it 4 stars. It wasn't my absolute favorite. I know a lot of people absolutely love these books, and it's usually a 5-star read for everyone, but for me, it just didn't have that 5-star feeling. It was really good. It was very complicated though, because I did not read the Shadow and Bone series, which this is a spin-off of that. A lot of people say you don't need to read those books in order to read this, which you don't, but it just takes a lot more of like figuring out what's going on. But basically, if you don't know, it's a fantasy book about a guy named Kaz who pulls together this team to pull off a big job to make a lot of money. Found family, definitely found family aspect to it, which a lot of people love in this. I do think it warrants pointing out that it is actually multiple points of view. I did not know that going into this book because I don't think I've heard anyone mention that. So multiple points of view, which also makes it a little bit more complicated, just keeping track of who's talking. But yeah, but other than that, it was a pretty good read if you like fantasy, if you like found family. My little blurb or thought on it is it gives me like Mission Impossible but with magic vibes, is kind of how I felt about that one. So that was pretty good. Next on the list, I have The Cure, and then after that I read the second book in the series, Awaken. So The Cure and Awaken by K.A. Riley. I don't think I'm going to be finishing the series. I rated The Cure 2.5 stars and then Awaken 2 stars. They were not my absolute favorite books. Basically what these books are about is there is a big disease that gets spread across the country, across the world. There's only one cure for it, but only the rich can afford the cure. But when poor, who are not lucky enough to be wealthy, when they turn 17, all the kids when they turn 17 can then go and live amongst the elite and the people with money and earn the cure if they're deemed worthy or not. The reason I didn't love it and why I gave it such a low rating is it basically just felt like a copy and paste of the Hunger Games with like the most minute changes for it to not be an exact copy. To be honest. Also, it's funny, but you can tell that they were written after 2020. If you know, you know. With the whole disease and cure and all of that. I was like, I looked it up and I was like, yeah, you can tell. So not my absolute favorite reads of the year for sure. After that, I have If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. This one I gave 4 stars. Since reading it, I don't know if I still agree with my 4-star rating. Sometimes I have to sit on it a little bit and think about it. I do my initial, like, this is what I thought, and then afterwards, I feel like it'd probably be closer to like 3.5. But the reason why I gave it a higher rating is because it did make me cry. And I feel like if an author can make you cry, they did their job. You know, they made you feel something, they got you sucked into the story enough, got you attached to the characters enough. But I didn't absolutely love the story. For this one, this is about Finn and Autumn, who were childhood friends. Something happens. They're no longer talking anymore. They're now in high school. You don't know why. You keep getting flashbacks and slowly like learn why. But then something happens, something tragic. You kind of have an idea of what that thing is from the get-go, from the very beginning of the book. I'm sure most people know this book. It's very popular right now, but I just didn't absolutely love the story. It's also like something I kind of like, if I was giving it a rating, would say it was like PG-13. It's got a little bit more mature content than I would be comfortable like with my own kid reading or someone younger. I just feel like it's just a little iffy on that aspect. So I didn't really super connect with the characters until the very end. And that's what most people say is like, it's the last 20-30 pages that really get you, and they did really get me. I bawled like a baby. I cried a lot. So that's why it's got the 4 stars. But will I ever read it again? No. Will I recommend it? Probably not, unless like I for sure know the person reading it would really enjoy it, but it's not an everybody will love book. So those are my thoughts on that. My notes on the back. After that, I have The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. That one I did actually really like, but I also gave it 4 stars. See, and that's why I feel like If You'd Been With Me, I think is more of like a 3-star rating, just because I liked The Bodyguard way more, but not enough for 5 stars. So I think I officially changed it to 3 stars for If You'd Been With Me. But The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, that one's 4 stars. That one was really good. I did love it. I loved how clean it was. I loved the forced proximity. So again, this is another popular one. So I feel like everybody has heard of this one or knows this one. But if for some reason you don't, this one is about a girl named Hannah who is a bodyguard, and she needs to protect this celebrity who's Jack, but he is a stalker, so she has to, of course, protect him from the stalker. But his mother is sick, and he wants to go stay with his parents at their home at this ranch. Doesn't want to upset his mom, who is sick, so he has to pretend to be dating his bodyguard, Hannah. So it's fake dating, close proximity, definitely a very lighthearted, feel-good read. I did very much enjoy it. I flew through it pretty quick. After that, we have Life as We Knew It by Susan Beth Pfeffer. I think I've mentioned this in past books of ones that I wanted to read. This one is about a girl named Miranda and her 2 brothers and her mom. Basically, what happens in this story is an asteroid, is it an asteroid? I think it's an asteroid, hits the moon, knocks it closer to the Earth. World basically is coming to an end now. Of course, because the moon affects everything. So now there's food shortages, there's no electricity. So it's just like survival. I don't think it'd be considered dystopian. I guess apocalypse. I don't really know what genre this would be considered. It's written as a journal from Miranda's point of view. It's kind of a downer, to be honest, because it feels very bleak, very hopeless of a situation, and you're just seeing it from her point of view, and it's really sad. And I did actually cry at the end. I did not expect to. I did cry. So I do have 3 more books in this series to read, which I'm going to get to, but I kind of need to like emotionally be ready for that. This one I rated 3 stars because it did make me cry, but I did not really like love it. It was good. And I'm going to finish the series because it was good enough to finish it, but 3 stars for that one. I need a drink. Oh my gosh. And so Life as We Knew It is the last book that I read in January. Then for February, The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. This one I did actually like a lot. 4 stars. I did 4 stars for this one. Didn't give me that 5-star feel, but it was actually really good. It's a little bit chunky. It's a little bit chunky of a book. This is an adult fiction by Stephanie Meyer, which is very different for her because, of course, she wrote Twilight and The Host, which is one of my favorite books ever. This one is about a girl named Alex who is an ex-government agent of some sort, unknown agency that you don't hear about, you don't know, doesn't exist. And she no longer works for them, but she takes on one last job. But her target ends up being someone that she needs to protect. And so she gets involved with that whole situation, and there is subplot of romance. It's got close proximity, a little teensy bit of like enemies to lovers, but not really. And also kind of like love at first sight kind of a feel to it. I don't know if that's like technically a legitimate trope, but yeah, so it's a pretty good book. It has definitely like a Mission Impossible, Born Identity kind of a feel to it. So that's pretty good if you like a little bit of, I guess, thriller. Not really a thriller. Suspenseful. I don't know. Fast paced. After that, we have, which I don't have a physical copy of, my first 5-star read of the year, and I am going to be getting a physical copy if it's the last thing I do. I read it as an ebook. It is called All Last Summer by Stephanie J. Scott. This book was so lighthearted, so happy, so cute, and just sweet. I loved it. I loved it. So I would definitely want to have a physical copy. It is about Lila and Aiden. Lila has a boyfriend, which you learn all this in the very beginning, and it's, I think, on the back of the book, so it's not a spoiler. She has a boyfriend. He cheats on her. They were supposed to be going on a trip together. Now they're no longer going on this trip because she's not really happy with him. So he goes, she stays behind, but she needs to now make money to pay for this trip that she last minute canceled on. So she's to get a summer job. She gets it at the place where her boyfriend used to work, and her nemesis, which is her ex-boyfriend's best friend, Aiden, works there. And so it's a bit of enemies to lovers, close proximity. And so she's just working because she just needs money. She needs to pay back her parents for this trip. She kind of has no choice. He gives her a hard time. It's just so super cute. It's very clean, which is my preference in books. I love a clean book. There's either absolutely none or very minimal language in it, which I also very much appreciate. But it just gave me such a lovely feeling when I read it. I was grinning at parts. I loved Aiden. He was funny. He was sweet. I love seeing her like slowly start to like him. It's phenomenal. I highly recommend this book. I cannot wait to buy it. I want to read more books by Stephanie J. Scott because it was that good. And it could have just hit me at a time where I really needed a feel-good, happy book, but it was definitely wonderful. It's definitely one I would suggest for a summer read. It's great. It'd be a great summer read. Of course, I'm reading it in the dead of winter, but who cares? Still a good book. So that is my high recommendation. After that, I read Always Jane by Jen Bennett. This one was not that great. Didn't absolutely love this one. This was 3 stars for me. Didn't love the characters. Wasn't super into the story or the trope. I don't really want to say what the trope is because I feel like it would kind of give away the story. You kind of know that from reading what it's about. Yeah, so I didn't absolutely love it. Definitely, I mean, it's cute. It was decent. It was a good summer read, but not something that I would say run out and read right now. Wasn't upset that I read it, but wouldn't read it again, wouldn't recommend, kind of a deal. So 3 stars on that. After that, I read my first Frida McFadden book. I read Never Lie. That was another 5-star read for me. That one was amazing. Absolutely loved it. I so far really like Frida McFadden's writing style. The plot twist blew my freaking mind. Like, gasped out loud. Couldn't believe it. Did not see it coming, and I love that. Love a good plot twist. So this one is a psychological thriller about Charissa and Ethan are a couple. They're looking for a house to buy. They stumble across a house that used to belong to Dr. Adrienne Hale, who is a therapist, would have sessions in her home with her patients, and she would record her sessions with her patients. Trisha stumbles upon these recordings. You get to hear the recordings and like what went on in the different sessions, and things kind of slowly start to piece together. You just learn a lot about Dr. Hale and the other characters, and it's a wild ride. It's a wild ride. It is great. I feel like it would be a great winter book because it's set like during a snowstorm. So it's got kind of like cozy but creepy vibes, if that's a thing. I don't know. But I really liked it. It was so good. Like I said, blew my mind. Plot twist was insane. 5-star read. After that, I read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden because I've heard rave reviews about that. Absolutely loved Never Lie, so I was like, let's read this one next. It was on Kindle Unlimited, so figured let's just read that one real quick. It looked like a short book too. That one was 4 stars for me. Didn't absolutely love that one quite as much. The plot twist I kind of somewhat expected. It didn't like blow my mind. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But it was really good. It was a very good read. The way she writes things is great. That one, if you don't know, is about a girl who needs a job. She's on parole, so she can't get hired really anywhere. She gets hired as a housemaid, but then things kind of are weird. A little bit creepy. She doesn't understand what's going on. The room that she stays in, because she's a live-in maid, has a lock on the outside of the door, and it just kind of all goes from there. So it was a decent read. I would recommend it, but not 5-star. Next, I have Spells for Lost Things by Jenna Evans Welch. She's the author of Love and Gelato. I have not read Love and Gelato, but I know everybody loves that. Maybe one day. Picked this one up because it's just, honestly, I loved the cover. So I picked it up because the cover was cute. The story sounded cute. It's about Willow and Mason, dual point of view. Willow finds out of the blue that she has an aunt that she never knew about who passed away. And her mom need to travel to Salem, Massachusetts to settle her affairs. And there's like kind of lots of family secrets with that. Willow's kind of just like confused. She thought she knew her mom. Doesn't seem like she does. Then you have Mason, who is in the foster care system. He's of course searching for his mom, but he's staying with a family and in Salem, Massachusetts. And so him and Willow meet and they kind of team up because Willow's trying to unearth more family secrets, more about her past and her family's past. And so they kind of work together to figure all of that out. It didn't flow super well for me, especially in the beginning with the 2 different points of view. It felt very much like I was reading 2 separate books, which is understandable because it's 2 points of view, but also I kind of would like it to feel like they went together. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm sure I'm like nitpicking, but definitely cute though because it's got like a witchy vibe to it, witchy feel because it's set in Salem. I think it would be a nice read for the fall time, like around Halloween. It's set in the summer, but it still has enough of that feel that I think it would be great for Halloween time. Did surprisingly make me cry. I bawled like a baby at the end. It's not a sad book, and I don't know that many people would cry about it, but it hit a personal spot for me. I don't want to give anything away in the story, but just for me personally, hit really close to home, hit me in the heart, and I did cry. My husband like looked over, he was like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "Maybe." So it got me a little bit, but again, I don't think anybody else would really cry at it. It's just a personal thing, but it was cute. So, you know, I'd recommend for fall time. All right. We're getting close to the end, guys. My lighting has been insane. Of course, whenever I do sit down video, it seems to always be overcast and the lighting is actual crap for me. So I'm trying to make it work. So hopefully things are a little bit better, but that's why. The next one I read was The Wrong Bachelor by Alexandra Moody. I read it as an ebook. That one was really cute. That was 4 stars. Basically what it is The Bachelor, but in high school. Some high school students decide to do the Bachelor show to raise money for a charity, and they vote one guy to be the Bachelor, and then they vote for a group of girls to be someone that he chooses for true love or date to the formal, I think. So Maddie ends up being voted on by the student body to participate as one of the girls in the show. She already has a boyfriend, but it's for charity, so she's like, okay, fine. But the twist is that the Bachelor that was voted for is a guy named Cole, who is like her enemy. So it's enemies to lovers. Her and Cole used to be friends when they were younger, but something kind of happened. So now they're not. Now they like are always fighting, bickering, picking on each other, the whole thing. But of course, you know, things come out, you learn new things, stuff happens, things change. Anyway, it's just very cute, very feel-good read. Would recommend. 4 stars though, wasn't that 5-star feeling, but it was very cute, very sweet, so I like that one. The last one was a reread for me. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I wanted to reread these books and I thought maybe I would reread them like later in the year. Ended up reading them now. I just had that urge, that feeling. I started. I did not think I was going to read this fast enough to add it to February, but I flew through it because it's a great book. I am doing a reading vlog of me rereading the whole series. So I'm currently on the second book. So I don't want to talk too much about my feelings for this because you'll hear about it in that video. But it's still a 5-star. Still has that special place in my heart. I did want to go ahead and let you know the books real quick that I DNF'd. Most of them were in February. So the first one, and then I might make a separate video of viral books that I didn't love. Sorry, but it's just how it is. Because the first one I DNF'd was The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I know that's a big one. I know everyone loves it. I did not. It's not for me. I feel like I'm probably gonna like make enemies because of these. But the next one is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, which I know it's people either absolutely love it or absolutely hate it. I'm in the hate it category. Sorry, but that's again just not for me. ACOTAR. Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I started listening to it on audiobook. I got halfway through. It is just not for me. No. And I feel like there's kind of a theme. And then Verity by Colleen Hoover. I couldn't do it. I got 60 pages in. And I was like, no, thank you. I think I'm officially not a Colleen Hoover fan. And I'm sorry. I know everybody loves Colleen Hoover and they love all of her books. But I am not one of those people. I don't even know if I'm going to try anymore because I've tried a couple now and the reasons that I don't like them are all the same, and so I feel like it's just kind of her writing style is not what I like. So yeah, so those are my DNFs. Everybody has different tastes in books and writing styles and all that, so you know, it is what it is. But this was a very long video. And if you guys stayed to the end, I very much appreciate you. It means a lot to me. I know I talked a lot, and hopefully I'll get better at being a little bit more concise with my thoughts. But I do love talking about books, and so once I get started, it's kind of hard for me to stop. But yeah, that's my wrap up. That's everything I read for January and February. And if you did enjoy this video, of course, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe if you're not already. And I will hopefully see you guys in the next one.
Life is a
Bye.
winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, really wanna